Hi Sam, how are you?
Good, Daniel. Good to see you. Been a
It's
while.
great to, yeah, it's great to have you here and to be able to talk with you a little bit about the e-signature world. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit of your position in OneSpan, a little bit about OneSpan sign, and then I can explain a little bit about validated ID.
Absolutely, sounds good. So, my name is Sam Khataei. I'm involved in product management for a good chunk of my career, and currently I'm working as a product manager at OneSpan for the past few years now. So, work closely with our e-signature and identity verification line of business. um, and also my interest is in TSP, qualified electronic signatures, etc. And
Cool.
basically happy to be here.
We have been having some good time working together, and definitely the question of e-signatures is something that is very interesting today. So for the people that may know, maybe they don't know me. So I'm Daniel Translateur. I'm the VP Sales of Validated ID, and we are also a qualified trust TSP provider here in Europe and working globally in that sense. And it's very interesting to be able to have you here, Sam, because I think that OneSpan as a global player has a very good overview of what is going on worldwide as well. So it's interesting to get your feedback. And I think one of the places that where I wanted to start is how do you see that the future of digital signatures post pandemic? It's been we have had all of these crazy years, 2 years with the pandemic. I know that from our side we see it as an incredible challenge, and it has been changing. It's funny, I'm
Yeah,
saying already post pandemic, but we're not yet there. We're on
we
the
are.
way.
We
But
are in.
so how do you see it on your side of the woods?
I mean, speaking of the COVID and the pandemic and everything like that, I still say that the future is bright, and it's just not a well. You see, it's all about the adjustments. It's all about making sure that we have all the right tools in our hand to move forward. If I want to give the quick version of this, quick version of the answer, like from business standpoint, is about balancing risk and user experience. And e-signature, like we should look into the e-signature that is trustable, seamless on both sides. What do I mean by both sides? Signer, sender, loaner, borrowers. They need to feel comfortable. They need to feel that they can trust what they're using, and that has the exact same meaning as like a wet signature, with no hassle. But before I dive deep into it, in my opinion, let me just set the scene. The technology, in my opinion, behind e-signature is quite mature. I mean, and this is a big plus. X509, PKI, those are all like those are the engine under the hood that provides the services like e-signatures are first introduced in early 90s, and it has been a couple of decades that there has been a movement towards adaptation of e-signature as a part of the whole like digitalization movement, especially in sectors like financial sector.
Yeah,
But
we see it. We
and
see it also. We see it, for example, in HR and different places. And I think that one of the cool things about this sort of technology is that many people think to do the process more complex than it should be. I'm sure that you see it on
Mhm.
your site. um, Technology and digital signatures should not be more complex than signatures in wet paper. You shouldn't take. I have a lawyer that I know that he says always, you should not take the bureaucracy of the and make it even worse in the digital world. And I think that many times we think too much about because we are afraid of the digital world, but actually it gives us a much more, as you said, with PKI and all of these tools, it gives us significantly more trust and ability to survive and to use it with trust than wet paper, that it's what people feel more comfortable, right? Do you feel the same on that
Yeah,
sense?
absolutely. It's just the heart of the many financial transactions. It's just signatures, right? At the end of the day, you need to sign a piece of a paper. That's
Right.
basically what it is. And
And
moving from this manual transaction to digital experience is what I call a journey.
yeah, we are seeing, as I
So,
said, we are also seeing that the change is coming significantly, and now post-pandemic, or in the later phases of the pandemic, we see that the openness and the absorption and willingness to go to digital has changed significantly. We see it in different regions. We see it in Latin America. We see it in Europe. We saw it already, and the US has been always very open to that kind of solutions. Um, so it's interesting to see the process that's changing and seeing how different regions, which were a little bit more afraid of using this sort of technology, have been going and being more open into that sense. And I think it's something definitely that is changing. I hope that it will bring more business to companies like you and us. But in that sense, it's really a place to see a future of pushing it, right? And in that sense,
absolutely.
lawyers that we're talking here in this global forum for lawyers, I think that lawyers are still a little bit behind, right? I again, and maybe you see it on your side. We see it that lawyers are still being more people who mostly want to still keep the paper and in that sense. But we're starting to see the movement and the change in that sense, and the opportunity to see more and more movement into the signature world and to the new technologies, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of comfortness, right? And I'm gonna spin back to what I mentioned: adaptation. How we can ease that process? What basically needs on the for the use cases like a person who works in the legal sector to feel comfortable to adopt a solution that provides an e-signature. We cannot just talk about technology. We cannot just tell them X509 is good, PKI is good, anti-tampering, you know, is confidential, everything will be encrypted. These are not just going to cut it. We got to look back at how you can improve this adaptation. Look at this customer journey about, hey, basically we are bringing a new person, a new customer, and then this person has to, let's say, goes through the onboarding process. It has to go through the identity verification at the beginning. It has to go through the certain law and the compliance and security related activities. That person needs to sign an agreement, go through, and then look into this, how this person can conduct a secure transaction over and over, right, as a part of like a daily basis activities. You should look at it as a whole. Otherwise, if we just look at the signature, then it's just not gonna cut it, because the signature to the part of the package of this journey that the signer, the sender, like I said, the loaner and the borrower, the these are the these are the people that we are basically dealing with,
Cool.
and
No, I
this
agree, and
transaction
it's and
can
it's something
happen.
changing.
Yeah, this transaction can happen in a law office, can happen in a financial, in a bank branch, right? We are working to that this is an e-signature, this is a quality, this qualified signature is basically as is just I can I say identical to a wet signature. Is that basically your impression too, Daniel? So
Yeah, well, look, at the end, it looks the same, and that's part of what I think many of us in the e-signature world want, that people feel comfortable and feel that it's similar, right? But at the end,
You're right.
and that's what I was saying also, at the end there is much more into that we can give with a signature in the digital world. So you can keep the, as you were saying, the integrity of the document and the time stamping when it was done, etc. All of these processes definitely help us be even more secure than the paper world with the wet ink, right? um,
Mm-hmm.
and in that sense, it is interesting to see, and maybe that's another question for you, Sam. Are you seeing any sort of disruptive technologies that you think that could change the story? So for example, I know that one of the panels in this event is going to be talking about self-sovereign identity, that it's something that we're close into this area. And it's incredible how, if today we're putting a signature to sign a document, why shouldn't I use other credentials or other means to sign a document saying to represent that I was there, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
all the story with this kind of process where you can validate yourself. So I don't know if you are seeing any other technologies in the market that are there that could risk the process.
I'm looking at it from a different angle, similar to like you're saying, looking at how you bring the different flavors of identity verification and tie it with e-signature, right? The e-signature serves as the certificate that has been acquired from the CA, and then you're basically signing the document hash with it. But then you tie it side by side with something like a one span virtual room that provides like a video session. The loaner sits together with the borrower side by side, walk them through the process so that the borrower feel comfortable when they put their signature on that PDF file. Or the process could be automated with with an identity verification tools, so that the
Right.
borrower can scan their driver's license and let's say by taking a selfie verify that he is the actual person intended to be the signer. It's all about what level of comfortness from risk standpoint you're willing to
Yeah.
take and embed it
You know,
as a
it's
part
it's
of
always
design.
it's always the same story. Risk, regulation, usability, price. It's always the same things that need
Mhm.
to go into the balance of what, where, how, and what is the right approach. It's definitely something that you see every day. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and it's a business question, right? Because I'm gonna spin back to the adaptation. You want to increase the volume. You want to address this transformation, right? You want to encourage um, your user, your consumer, to consume this service. Leverage from e-signature. Feel comfortable about this. Feel free to use it when you want, how you like it. Then you should provide them with certain necessary tools side by side, so that provides that improve that level of trust. And then, but once you introduce more material, more tools, more processes into this signing process, into this what's the right word for that? This activity, this exercise of obtaining someone's signature, then you're introducing friction, right? At the middle of onboarding process, let's say, as in the middle of completing a loan application remotely, the borrower may just give up, say, okay, that's it, this is just too complicated, I need to you have my
Mhm.
phone, my OTP, I don't know how to use my iPhone because I don't know my it doesn't integrates well with the web application that's support the e-signature. The selfie, it keeps complaining that the quality is not so good, right? You're introducing more and more friction. At certain point, the people are just gonna give up. and that's going to damage the idea of this digitalization. Yes, we are investing tons on it, but if you don't get it right, then it's just going to fail. So
We
that's
see that a
that's
lot.
my angle looking at it.
Yeah, we see that a lot in the sense of, and I always say this to customer and partners, it's a question of always putting in the balance usability and really usability and the sense of security that you need, and at the same time evaluating the prices. We can always make and define the most complex process, most secure process in the world, but then the amount of people, as you were saying, the amount of people who which will be able to use it is zero. Or you can make a very unsecure process, but it can be very easily hacked and used by everybody. So I
Hmm.
always think that we need to try to keep always the gold line and something in the middle where we can definitely live together. And this is something that we've seen many times, where you go to a customer or partner and they say, yeah, is this legal? And then you have, and the people here who are lawyers will understand, they say, yeah, legal, only qualified signature is legal. And you say, guys, really, is that really only qualified signature is legal? We need to take a little bit
It's a
deeper the
myth.
look into that. Right. Is the myth and the understanding that if you take a deeper look into the process, it really shows that it's the evidence-based process that it's recording during the process. It's what really enables it. So there's always secondary rules and secondary regulations and things like that definitely limit it. But I still think that, and agree with you, that it's a lot of people being afraid and not feeling
Yeah.
comfortable still with this type of new technology. We have been signing documents for thousands and years, and it's not that we go over the world saying, "Oh, I want to sign a document. I want to sign a document." No, it's people that comes to us who needs to show that you have some commitment or some will to do something, that they say, "No, now sign," so that they have a proof that you were the one who wanted to do this. And that's why I think that people are really afraid when they need to demonstrate that will, where they say, "Oh, I really want to have the most secure solution with the more proof that I can to be able to be sure of everything and anything." And I think it's important that we understand that it's a equivalent to a process and to some evidences, and the way you do it that definitely can make things easier for the signer, as you were saying, but also for the person who is borrowing, or the other side who is sending the document to be signed, to feel comfortable with the evidence and with the tools that they have to demonstrate that the other side was willingly accepting the process, right?
Absolutely. And then I can't think of any other way of saying this, but I believe it's just fundamental to deliver deliver e-signature solution that is backed by family of products within the security identity and security authentication. That's
Yeah,
as
we're
simple
seeing
as
more
that.
and more of this, right?
And
Cool.
whether it's qualified, advanced, or regular e-seal signature, yeah, same thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Sam, I don't know if you have anything else. It was always, as always, really great talking with you. It's a good opportunity. I think we wake you up early to talk with us in the other side of the world.
Oh no, it's still early. It's still is a good time, morning. But yeah, I also like to use the opportunity to just praise the authors of EIDAS group, especially folks like Andre Servida and the rest of his team. I mean, the works that they've done from theory standpoint, from regulatory standpoint, is just enormous. The fact that, and you see that how Europeans are the pioneers in this area, and the rest of the world are, adopting, picking up, and add their own flavor of regulations on top of what EIDAS presents. And at the same time, I also like to, use the opportunity to take my hat off to our wonderful clients, all the top tier banks, BBVA, BNP, ING, Ireland, Bank of America, all of those one Spanish customers who had the courage, who had the willingness to execute on that. And we've seen the results. We've seen how it actually, this investment, how it paid off. So that's my, yeah,
Yeah, and we
that's
hope to
my
see
two cents
more
on
and more, right? Here on our side of the woods, we see a
absolutely
lot of healthcare and a lot of different partners
other
and
sectors.
customers, as you said, who really are also involved. So it's always great to see that this is moving forward, and definitely there's a future and big future for us together to work. It's a place where I think I was saying today already a couple of times to some friends that paper is still our first competitor, right? We still see paper everywhere, everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are, which country, etc. Paper is still a big piece of our life, and there's a lot of place still where we can change it and put everything into digital. So which would be your five more relevant
But
players in the e-signature world?
I mean, I mentioned it briefly and also in the meeting too, in our, the recorded session too, right? The folks behind the IDAS, I can't think of anyone better than that group of people, that smart group of people. They reshape the whole industry from regulation standpoint. And the fact that, and I'm using this, I'm not just saying it from myself, I'm just saying it based on the impact they made across the world. Looking at the Latam region, America, Asia, Pacific, everywhere, they're basically saying what people have in Europe is what we need. They change they add their own flavor of local related regulations on top of EIDAS, but at the end of the day, the core is more or less similar. So the
Yeah, in
effort
that sense,
that went through it,
I think that there are some players like the Cloud Signature Consortium as well is a very nice player pushing for the idea uh, to how we can really push together this as a standard for global standard to find a way. And I agree with you 100%. The story with the EIDAS team and the different commissions which have been working into this opportunity, and now with the EIDAS 2, that is going to be a
mm,
new phase into the process, as we said, including the also the sovereign identity story and all of these ideas. I agree with you. There's some players that are changing the rules of the game and defining it for the global environment.
yeah. At the same time, yeah, like I mentioned on in our conversation, it's the banks and then all the agencies that they showed the willingness to adopt these technology to understand like you got the theory, sure, good, but who has the willingness to put their money and invest and execute on that?
Again, it was great having this time to chat with you, Sam, and thank you
Yeah,
for the organizers
same here.
of the Legal Tech Day. It was really an opportunity to be here, and I hope that this is a great event for everybody. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good day, have a good one, Daniel. Bye.
Bye.